Some anonymous Fort Hood soldiers say they were told they'd be punished if they donated to the Tea Party or evangelical groups. These soldiers say it was part of pre-deployment training about, quote, radical groups that, according to the Washington Times, were, quote, tearing the country apart. Fort Hood officials have launched an investigation. Some Texas congressmen are asking questions. They're concerned, too. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has our story.
Fort Hood is called the Great Place, but now there's great scrutiny after what some soldiers claim they were told in a pre-deployment training. Plano-based Liberty Institute is investigating on behalf of one of the unnamed soldiers.
It's pretty scary for the United States Army to suggest or outright say, as is alleged here, that evangelicals are a domestic terror threat. Makes it a scary time to come out of the closet as an evangelical.
The report in the Washington Times about the October 17th briefing caught the eye of 3 Texas congressmen who've written to Fort Hood commanders about the validity of the report. Writing, the Washington Times reported that Fort Hood soldiers were warned against supporting religious and political organizations based on the assumption that their ideology or beliefs are counterproductive to the country's security. The specific organizations cited were Christian and Tea Party groups.
Members of our armed forces do not check the First Amendment at the door when they sign up for our military.
Political lawyer Chris Gober is not involved in the case. Gober says, if true, it's troubling because the Department of Defense has its own directive of political activities for members of the armed forces.
Permitted in that directive is the making of political contributions.
In a statement to Fox 4, Fort Hood officials tell us, October 18th, a commander's inquiry was immediately initiated. The initial information gathered did not substantiate what was claimed to have occurred. An investigation was initiated because of how seriously the Army and Fort Hood leadership regard the proper training of soldiers. The investigation is ongoing. And Liberty Institute continuing its look as well.
But we're going to get to the bottom of who is responsible for initiating this training.
All right, let's go quickly. 2 questions. It hasn't been corroborated by Fort Hood at this point.
That's right.
Let's talk about the elephant in the living room here.
Sure.
Fort Hood had an Islamic radical on post,
November 2009,
talking that kind of speak
right.
in public, and they did nothing about him.
Right, and
is that kind of concern also outlined in this teaching?
According to the Liberty Institute and the unnamed soldiers, nothing was mentioned about Islamic extremists, only American extremists vis-a-vis Tea Party and evangelical Christian groups.
Which makes this a sore spot, I assume, on a post that had a really bad attack.
It does, and according to the unnamed soldier, it was a high-ranking counterintelligence agent who led the briefing and made these statements in the meeting, warning that these soldiers could in fact be punished if they donated to Tea Party or Christian groups. And this is just the beginning of this investigation.
All right, Sean, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.